Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
That's what I'm talking about. It is a Wednesday, and all of our guests on this day, including our friend Ross Tucker, standing by, brought to you by our title sponsor, Able Auctions, ableauctions.ca, to get your business assets or large collections sold at auction. Email sales at ableauctions.ca. Sales at ableauctions.ca. NFL season opens on Thursday, and here to talk about that in the season ahead, our good friend Ross Tucker from Westwood One, CBS Sports, and the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Ross, thanks so much for doing this. How are you? How was your summer? And tell us about your move up the corporate ladder at CBS.
Yeah, well, first of all, good to see you guys. Good to talk with you. It's been a while. There's been a lot of positive feedback when you announced that I'd be on with you guys every Monday, except now I'm talking to you on a Wednesday, but I can respect it. I'm guessing the folks at ableauctions.ca paid millions for me to switch to Wednesday this week. Understandable. Well done, Able Auctions. If you want customers, if you want to grow the audience, get them on a Ross Tucker day. That makes a lot of sense to me. And yeah, man, I'm doing Saints Titans NFL on CBS on Sunday. Very excited about that. It's been, I guess, a long time coming in the sense that I think in the 15 years since I retired, I think I've broadcast over 300 games on television and radio, if you can believe that. So it'll be a special moment for sure to be in the booth in the Superdome on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it.
Who do you think of when you think of CBS's coverage of the NFL, Ross, going back?
Well, it's funny that you asked that, Donnie, because last Sunday I was on the call for Oregon State against San Jose State for CBS, and it was the only game on 3:30 Eastern on Sunday, and so we led into 60 minutes. And so all I could think about was all the times I've heard Pat Summerall say, after the game, 60 Minutes will still be shown in its entirety, except on the West Coast. Check your local listings, followed by murder, she wrote. So for me, I guess I'm going to say Pat Summerall and John Madden, from the 80s and 90s when I was a kid, and my mom was probably telling me it's time for dinner, and my dad and I are like, wait till the game's over. No, is the game still going? Yeah, a couple more minutes. I mean, man, that is like etched in my brain forever.
Yeah, that's special. Hey, Ross, I've heard you talk about this over the last couple of weeks, but what makes you think the Seattle Seahawks can win, as we talk about a team around these parts, can win the NFC West?
Yeah, I mean, I had them, I don't even know where I said this recently. I'll tell you where I said it. On Tuesday's Ross Tucker Football Podcast.
There you go.
As I was doing my power rankings, one of the sponsors wants me to have a team I'll ride with. And going into the season, I'm riding with the Seahawks. Look, I thought, and you guys know, we talked about this, I thought they would be terrible last year. 2 rookie offensive tackles, Geno Smith at quarterback. Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? Guess what? They made the playoffs. The rookie tackles played pretty well. Geno Smith is good. Who knew? And so I'm a believer in what they did last year. I think they'll build upon that. I think getting Smith and Jigba and Witherspoon, a couple of young guys, top 20 picks, adds to the roster. And then Draymond Jones along the D-line. You get Bobby Wagner back at linebacker. I think that the Seahawks have a great chance to win that division. I know that the Niners are still the favorite, and that's fine. But the Niners better play well, and Purdy better be the real deal because the Seahawks are coming.
Ross, this is the time of the year everyone makes predictions, and we get to all make them. But I want to know who's your Super Bowl pick right now?
I would say average first question, Rick. Out of the blocks here. Average.
Why is it average?
We are
I want to know, you're the football expert. Who are you picking to win it all? Sports Illustrated used to come out with their predictions before the season, and they would pick a winner.
I think they still do.
They still do it. How is that average? You're the honcho, the head honcho. Who are you picking? It might help me.
Below average would have been if you asked me who the X factor would be in the Seahawks.
Yes.
X factor is the worst.
It's not an average question.
I can't stand anybody that says X factor should be fired. Okay? I can't. What do you think the X factor? What does that even mean? X factor.
Hey, the guy that said that.
The Y factor.
Yeah.
Or the
guy
Z factor.
Yeah. Hey, just give us your Super Bowl pick.
Yeah, I will, Rick. I'll get to it when I want to. This is my show. Not really, whatever. By the way,
hey,
when you guys post on social media and you tag me at Ross Tucker NFL, about half the responses were, I can't wait for you and Rick. Can't wait for you and Rick. And people say they end up laughing the whole time.
I couldn't sleep last night. I'm not going to lie to you. Go ahead, your Super Bowl pick.
Yeah, I think, Rick, it'll end up being the Bengals and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. If I had to pick right now, I think that's the most likely scenario, especially, with the issues the Chiefs are going through right now with Travis Kelce and Chris Jones. So I'll take the Bengals and the Eagles, and, man, that game's a toss-up. I guess I'll say the Bengals because if I say the Eagles, then I'm a homer. So I'll say the Bengals beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. But that would be pretty cool, right? The last two losers of the Super Bowl playing against each other. That would be cool because then one of them gets to win, although that would really stink for the team that loses for the second time in 3 years.
Ross, I want to ask you about the Canadian quarterback Nathan Rourke. He was right here playing in British Columbia with the Lions last year. He goes to Jacksonville, really good preseason, but guess what? They put him on waivers, and after the second game, the coach in Jacksonville said, no, there's no competition for the backup. We got our guy. What are your thoughts on having a good preseason like that, Ross, and still being put on waivers and over to the practice roster?
Well, listen, C.J. Beathard has been in the league for a while.
Yeah.
C.J. Beathard has a bunch of NFL experience. And so I think most coaches, and this is going to be the issue for Rourke, right?
Yeah.
There's typically the starter, the veteran backup with experience, and then the young developmental guy. So Rourke now becomes the young developmental guy. The Jags are choosing to develop him on the practice squad as opposed to the active roster right now. You never know what happens. If Trevor Lawrence goes down, then Rourke will get bumped up to the active roster, and if Beathard doesn't play well, then maybe Rourke gets the chance to start. But it's tough, man. I mean, I don't know how many teams. I think about half the teams have a third quarterback, half don't. So if you look at it, you got to be considered one of the 75 best quarterbacks in the world to be on an NFL active roster. Very difficult, but he'll still get paid pretty well on the practice squad in Jacksonville. No state income tax down there. And does have that opportunity if Lawrence suffers an injury. And guess what? The Jags' offensive line is not good at offensive tackle to start the year. So I don't hope that happens, but it's a possibility.
Bills at Jets on Monday. Ross, what do you expect from Aaron Rodgers in New York?
I think he's going to play really well. Yeah, I do. Now, the question for me is the offensive line and how much time they're able to give him. But I'd be surprised if Aaron doesn't play well. I think he's a little bit reinvigorated by this. I think going to New York City, I mean, every time I turn on the TV, he's at the event, U.S. Open, basketball, hockey, a Broadway show. I love that he's taking advantage of what New York has to offer. I think that's fantastic. I think he'll play very well. Their defense is loaded. The question mark really is just that offensive line and whether or not they'll be able to hold up.
Hey, Ross, I got to ask you this because my sons and I really enjoyed it. Did you watch the Netflix series Quarterback? And if so, what did you think of it?
I only watched the first episode so far. Man, we have a tough time watching TV. It sounds bad. I didn't watch Hard Knocks. I really only watch sports.
show?
I really only watch football. Because even like, for example, like this week, right? I'm watching Oregon State, San Jose State to see how I did, how I can do better. And I'm watching the Saints and the Titans to prep. Like, I don't have time for superfluous television like Rick does. You know what I mean? I don't have that kind of time.
I don't think Rick watched it. I did.
I watched it, actually. I saw the
did
whole
you?
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I know, Rick. I know, Donnie, but I don't like to make fun of you as much as I like to make fun of Rick. But no, that first episode I watched was cool. My wife and I would like to watch the rest. I like the behind-the-scenes stuff, the family stuff, and just having people see a little bit better idea of what it's really like.
Yeah, it's tough. Hey, thanks for this. We'll talk to you next week on Monday. Ryan, have I got that right? On Monday. And congrats on your advancement at CBS.
I am trying. Thank you very much. Looking forward to chatting on Monday. And thank you very much, ableauctions.ca.
There you go. Ross, Monday. We'll talk to you. Thanks so much for this. Have a great call.
See you guys.
You bet.